stable exchange rate, it really isn't going to help this sector unless you change the funding structure that goes into it.
Just before I let you go, the specialist banks of which to which you refer, they are not new. We've had them. In fact, we still have quite a few of them. But would you be, what are your thoughts as to how they have come to the current kind of parlous state in which many of them find themselves, where indeed sustainability is a major challenge? I don't know whether you have any views from a commercial banking perspective.
Honestly, I think that sometimes it's funny. All the smartest people work for the big salaries in the commercial banks. So I really think you have the depth of management in those places is not adequate. And I just think that because most of it has been left to government work sometimes, but government is not the best administrator, and that you have to give them a bit of a pace and get the right management. So I think it's just mismanagement, really.
Okay. Now, before I invite Mrs. Abeokuta, there are a couple of comments that I would like to elicit from other members of the panel, to which she might have some comment. Can I come back to you, Dr. Ogun? You set up some of the issues as far as the farmers, from a farmer's farmer, if you like. What would you like to see, say, 2, 3 things from the perspective of the government of Ogun State, that you say, you know what, guys, you really want us to do farming here seriously, be it cassava, be it livestock, be it rice. What would you say are those 2, 3 key things that would make you, as the chair of Efigo Farms, interested in putting some serious money here?
I think already the governor and his cabinet are showing very serious interest in agri. The few things they have to do as follows. One is to invest in a certain level of mechanization. Some of these machines which can help the rural farmers survive now are not very expensive, like what they have in India and China and the Philippines. The rice reaper, they call it. It's like a lawnmower. You put it on your farm and you cut your rice and then take the rice straw and thresh in a threshing machine. Then you eliminate the stones, because as at now, the farmer has to cut the rice and beat it on the floor and then pick it up. Now, view the average age of the Nigerian farmer now at 65, and the young people preferring to move to Abeokuta and move to Lagos. A time is not far away when you find any farmer in the rural areas. It's the same all over the country. It's easier to ride a Okada and do 2,000 naira a day than to cut rice on the field. As I said not too long ago, the rice farmers have to go north to import laborers. The danger in that is that you might as well, you have to be careful there not to import Boko Haram around. The other source is from the Republic of Benin, building laborers. It costs a farmer the average of 120,000 naira to harvest 1 hectare of rice. And like the World Bank lady said, Nigeria consumes 5 million tons of rice. 1 million tons of rice will fill up 33,000 trailers. That's 1 million tons. Times 5. The figure is going to rise to about 30 million tons in the next 10-15 years. We are way behind in our rice production. So, mechanization, a few more dams, earth dams, which are not too expensive, so we can do 2 or 3 crops a year, and then motivating younger people, and the only way of motivating them is by finding support for them and by giving them machines to work with. Machines give the young people status. They become stars in the village because they operate machines. They can earn money because they get to the farm, harvest the rice farm for the farmer, and in 2-3 days the farmer is free of his rice and can go for the next crop. Now, if you bring these in to a certain level and have them available in senatorial districts and eventually in local government areas, you'll be amazed how much output you'll get from even the poorest of farmers. And finally, the poultry farmers must recognize that the chicken waste, which they are currently throwing away, is the biggest source of manure, which President Fox talked about, for growing organic crops, which will command for you a 20% price in the world market. So the chicken waste is revenue. You can even convert it to electricity if you decide to go into biogas. Thank you very much.
Right. Let me again take a similar question to Mr. Onobanjo. That let's just say, so we are mindful of or desirous of urban development. Just 2-3 things that you would say to the state government. Okay, do these, and you should see some decent impact in terms of the kind of investments and outcomes that you get.
I think the first thing I would suggest is for the government to provide
incentives for the private sector to key into its urban development initiative. And it can do this by providing land at cheap rates or no rate at all. Yes, because once the development is completed, government can then take its pound of flesh. Because once it's been developed and it's been sold, the buyer would have to come to government for some kind of documentation. So government can rake in revenue at the end of the development, not initially. So if land is available, and there are, like Mr. Gaji said, capital all over the world for this purpose, and if you provide the incentive, you say there is land, you can build. As long as you go according to the plan of the state, you can build, sell. Once you have sold, then government can. Then government should no longer emphasize the idea of mapping out plots for individuals to build. Those days are gone. For meaningful urban development, you need massive development, which we're not talking of individuals coming to build a 4-bedroom house or a 3-bedroom house. And what you have with that system is that people build houses they really don't need. Nobody is building houses that are needed. What is a young bachelor doing with a 3-bedroom apartment? But you can't get anything short of a 3-bedroom apartment to buy or to let. 1-bed apartments, 2-bed apartments. Nobody is emphasizing that. People buy plots, they build big houses that nobody needs. And the other thing government can do in terms of getting meaningful urban development is to provide primary and secondary roads linking settlements and towns in the state, as opposed to providing just access roads. Those should be left to developers who would come, take large chunks of land, build, and then sell. Then we provide such primary infrastructure. But government should endeavor to provide primary roads, roads linking A to B, and then secondary roads, so that developers can key into this and map out their own development plans.
Well, now, some interesting points have been made by both Chief Ogbe and Mr. Onobanjo. Let me come to the government's perspective. There was something that I taken, and one of the things, and I think it was Mr. Agbaji who had drawn attention to this, that there's a need to be able to trust the government, to be able to trust the infrastructure. That is what could sustain and enhance public-private partnership. And then we know that the resources available, no matter what I say, you will argue, is limited anyway. So I wonder, from your own perspective as a representative of the government, how do you see the role of the government? You know, what is it exactly that those in the audience who are potential investors should be looking at